Okay. So we are going to start with unit 3. The title of the unit 3, the foundations are foundation of qualitative research and its relationship with the quantitative and mixed researches. So this entire unit is going to give importance to what is what on qualitative research. So the each and every component of qualitative research you are going to learn. In addition to that, you are also going to learn the relationship between quantitative research and mixed method research. How the qualitative research is relating with the quantitative and the mixed research. So it though it looks like so many topics, but there are
Yeah.
two major topics as well as my certain minor topic as well. So Liban he says not working.
It is his problem.
Yeah. Okay. So the first part it's mainly giving importance to qualitative aspects, nature and meaning of qualitative research. You then philosophical foundation of qualitative research, the history of qualitative research, then difference between qualitative and quantitative. Then there is a relationship between methodology and methods. That this it's a one part of maybe up to the history. You are going to specifically studying the concept and meaning definition of qualitative research and its philosophical background. Then you are going to how it is relating with the qualitative and quantitative relationship between research method and the methodology. Then you are going to study the application of mixed method research. So there are different this in between after the qualitative research you are going to study certain common topic like difference between qualitative and quantitative, then relationship between research methodology and the methods, then application of research mixed method, then this is the common thing in addition to the qualitative study you are going to learn. The second part, the different approaches used in qualitative research. This is very important thing. So first part is dealing with the general thing related to concept of qualitative study. Then certain some relation some other methods how it is relating with the qualitative. The second part it giving importance to different approaches in qualitative research. You are going to study there are 6 approaches, namely case study. What is case study? Grounded theory, phenomenology, ethnography, narrative study. These are all the approaches you are going to study under different approaches followed in qualitative study. It itself take one day session it will this itself take. So first part your that's you can we can deal separately. The second part we can deal separately. After that the third there is a third part, data collection tools in qualitative and mixed research. So under that you are going to study in-depth interview, observation, focus group discussions, some other tools in relation to mixed research methods. So it will take half a day to done with the data collection tools. Once we finish the data collection tool, the same day we can do sampling also. So you know sampling what is in our previous semester we learned what is sampling, but here we were giving importance to samplings related to qualitative. So there are samplings directly relevant to qualitative method like qualitative and the mixed methods, the purposive sampling, not cluster, snowball sampling. Then there are samplings were directly relating with the qualitative and the mixed research. So once we finish the third part, especially data collection and sampling technique, the fourth part giving importance to um, the quality of the data. So here you are going to study the concept of data reduction in qualitative research, then the coding in qualitative research, data analysis and presentations in qualitative research. Then reliability and validity in qualitative. Reliability and validity you already studied, but how it is relating with the qualitative study also you are going to learn. Then the end you are going to study integrating how quantitative and qualitative data can be integrated in research. Then triangulations. So there are four parts. The first part is talking about the concept of qualitative research and its relationship with the quantitative and quantitative and mixed method. How qualitative studies were relating with the other type of research. The second part, specific approaches were followed in qualitative research. There are six approaches were commonly used in qualitative study. Then the third part, it giving importance to the data collection tools, then sampling techniques, data reductions, data coding. This is the third part. Fourth part, data analysis and presentations, reliability, validity, and integration of quantitative and qualitative and triangulations. So for me, it needs at least 3 days to complete the entire unit, because since it is a very big unit, so we need to give importance to this unit. This is going to be the foundation for qualitative study. So in my first class, I told if you understand the qualitative and the nature of qualitative and quantitative approaches, it will help you to choose which methodology you are going to be conversant with it. For example, if you are choosing a transformative approach in your research, the one we discussed yesterday under philosophical worldview. If you are going with the transformative approach, you supposed to know quantitative research. If you are not knowing quantitative research, it is not easy to do transformative type of worldview. It is not easy to develop transformative type of worldview. So in this background, there are learning objectives. When you are completing the entire session, you are going to understand the meaning of qualitative research. Especially if you are doing first part, you should understand the meaning of qualitative study. Then you can able to internalize the importance of philosophical foundation for qualitative research. So philosophical foundation will support us to choose or strengthen our worldview towards certain phenomena, especially in research related worldview. It is very much needed. It will strongly influence our findings. Then you can able to understand the difference between research method and methodology. These two uh, wordings or these two concepts were interrelated. Sometimes we are using research methodology, sometimes we are using research method, but we need to be very careful where we supposed to use approach, method and methodology. If you are talking, if you are doing a quantitative study, mostly we were using the term research methodology. But if you are doing a qualitative study, we were commonly used research method. We can say qualitative method and quantitative method. So you need to understand the difference between method and methodology. Then you are also expected to identify key social research approaches used in qualitative research. Whether there are 6 types you are going to learn, each approach how unique from other approaches. So that is the one you are going to learn under. You can able to identify key social science research approaches. Then you can able to list important qualitative and mixed method data collection tools. So in-depth interview, if you are using in-depth interview, what kind of method you are using, you should know. For example, if you are using focus group, even focus group is eligible to use in quantitative study, but where you are using, how you are using that thing you are going to learn from here. So you can able to list the certain important qualitative and mixed method data collection tool, in-depth interview, focus group discussion, then mapping, certain mapping exercises. Then there are more than 4 different tools you are going to study, which commonly used in qualitative and mixed methods. Then you are also going to learn the sampling methods, which is relevant to the Now you are not going to learn entire sampling method because you already studied the entire sampling method, but here you are going to give importance to qualitative, the sampling methods commonly used in qualitative study. Then you are going to understand the concept of data reduction. So data reductions, what is the purpose of doing data reduction, especially in qualitative study? If you are reaching a saturatory level or you are accumulating volume of data, then it means you are reaching a saturation point or you are reaching data reduction stage. So when you wanted to complete your study, that the concept of data reduction will tell us when we reach the saturation point. Then you are also exposed to data coding and analysis procedure. Here you are given you are given orientation towards data coding and analysis commonly used in qualitative study. In addition to this, you are also going to be given an workshop, online workshop on data analysis software used in, there is a software called Atlas used in qualitative study. It will be organized separately for all the MSW students. Then you are going to understand the importance of reliability and validity in qualitative research. Then you are going to understand, able to integrate quantitative and qualitative data in your research. How you are going to incorporate both questionnaire, within your questionnaire, how you are going to incorporate both yes or no type questions and also descriptive type questions. So that also part of the unit 3. Now we were entering into actual
Hello.
session.
Doing good, Ivan.
Hello.
Once doc. Sorry, I'm talking with Liban.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, Liban. Doing what ani simara kong kisam banata. ID mal berbada linki tukna sige sabar ofisa. ID nachira jira bar linki sana share ke jira mati linki. ID ni ko achira linki sana jira bar dubbistoti. Meeting ID jedha miti meeting ID torba lama sadii tokko afur jedheetti uumisa 55. Seenaan jiru innis sun bilchaana isaa. Bilchaana isaa miti waan namatti massale. Samaaru jiraan ikko chaaptarii 3 eegalle bara. Akkami jecha hartanii ijoollee sana manatti maaliif hin baranne limanatti haala mijeessitee waan salphaadha barku.
Okay. Now we are going to start our actual class. Just now we completed the course outline and other things. So the nature and meaning of qualitative research, how it taking shape, what exactly the qualitative study. So before going to see what is qualitative study, we need to understand the word qualitative. So the word qualitative, it basically derives from Latin word qualitas. So this qualita means it says quality or the future or entity. It's in simple term, quality. Quality, it shows the so many things are there, but only few things are quality oriented, or you can say few things are fine, or certain things only in acceptable form. So many things, so many materials are there, but only certain things are quality oriented. That is called quality. So it's the primary focus of qualitas is to the qualities and features and entities. This term quality, according to Tenzin and Linglon, they are saying the qualities of entity are for example, so many universities are there. Maybe if the University of Bolihora, if it is different, then you need to mention certain qualities of Bolihora. If you are find certain qualities of Bolihora, then it is going to be it's based on the quality. According to this two author, the qualitas means qualities of entities as well as process and meaning that are not experimentally examined or measured in terms of quantity, amount, intensity, and frequency. So qualitas means you are not measuring. There is a process and meaning for qualitas. There is a process and meaning. It is not easy to measure, but it can not only measuring, not experimentally examined or measured in terms of quantity, amount, intensity, or frequency. For example, I can say Dekele, he is very good boy. He is very good boy. The term very good boy, it is not easy to measure, because the term very good boy or he is polite. If this kind of objective, the subjective description, it is not easy to measure. There is no standardized definitions to measure this kind of things. But you can able to understand based on the qualitas. You can able to understand if you are saying somebody is good or somebody is polite. People can understand very easily, but it is not easy to measure. If certain qualities or certain entities or certain future not able to, if it is not experimentally examined or measured in terms of quantity, amount, intensity, or frequency, then it is considered as a qualita. That's the real meaning of qualita. Still, I can able to give certain example. The social work you are studying in Bolihoro is different from some other university, because the in term the nature of education given in Bolihoro is different from other university. It is not easy to understand. It is not easy to measure the nature of the delivery, but you can able to understand since you are here, you are experienced by yourself. So it is easy for you to understand, but it is not easy to measure. If it is measurable, then it is going to be. It is not a qualitas. Are you able to understand the meaning of qualitas?
Yeah.
Not moving. So the qualitative research is a type of scientific research, but the qualitative research is also considered as a scientific research, though it is not measurable, though it is not quantified, though it is not. It's a process oriented. It's a process oriented. It is not possible to measure, but certain techniques are there to measure, but it is not commonly measurable one. But still, it is considered as a scientific, because scientific, if it is a scientific, it's supposed to be a measurable one. It's supposed to be quantifiable one. It's supposed to be countable one. But qualitative, it is not measurable. It is not countable. It is not. It's a process oriented. But still, it is considered as a quantitative because of this characteristics, or because of the qualities applied in qualitative study. Mainly, the qualitative studies seeks answer to a questions. That is what research always doing. There are unanswered questions supposed to be answered. Unanswered questions, mostly the research involved in getting answer for the unanswered questions. That is the basic idea behind for research, any research. So qualitative study is also seeks answer to a unanswered questions. That's the basic criteria fulfilled by qualitative study. Then it also systematically uses a predefined set of procedure to answer the questions. It also have problem statement. It also have data collection methodology. There is no hypothesis and other things, but it also have sampling procedure. It also have research method, data collection procedure, data analysis, and also interpretations. So It have systematically, qualitative study also systematically uses predefined set of procedure to answer the questions. It collects evidences. Sometimes the evidences not in the form of number, but it collects evidences in the form of historical writing or historical writing, or in monographical forms, or in the form of sentences, or in the form of narratives, or in the form of behavior. Different forms are there, but it uses these things as an evidence. Then it also produces findings that were not determined in advance. So when you are doing qualitative study, the result is also not predefined. Result is not predefined. Result is actually derived from the process. It is the result is not determined well in advance. It is part of the process you are deriving the results. So it produces findings that are applicable behind the immediate boundary of the study. You can able to replicate the findings in other situations. It produces findings that are applicable behind the immediate boundaries of the study. That's why the qualitative study is also considered as a scientific research. Any question? Qualitative research seeks to understand the research problem from the local perspective it involves. Mostly, the research problems were deliberately done by the researcher in quantitative study, but qualitative study seeks to understand the research problem from the local perspectives it involves. The qualitative research is especially effective in obtaining cultural specific informations. If you want to study certain sensitive information, sensitive type of titles, maybe causative factors of certain inhuman practice. The qualitative is the effective methodology. Health seeking behavior. It is not easy to go with the quantitative study, but the qualitative study, it will be an effective methodology to go with this culturally sensitive type of informations. So it's an effective tool to obtain cultural specific informations. So qualitative research seeks to discover and describe narratively about the study populations. If you want to use descriptive research, if you want to involve descriptive, then qualitative is one of the effective method to describe narratively about your study populations. So it aimed at gaining deeper understanding about specific organizations or events. If you want to study specifically particular event with in-depth information, this is the effective methodology. It also aims to get better understanding through first-hand experience, truthful reporting, and quotations of actual conversations. Beauty of qualitative study: you yourself as a researcher, you are doing research first-handly. You are not depending the big research teams. You are the major source of collecting information. You yourself, you are first-handly involved in collecting the data. Then you are reporting the information what you are collected in the same language. So the quotations are the actual wordings used by the local people is going to be the same conversation is going to be taken up in your reporting style. So this is the key characteristics or qualities of qualitative studies. So the characteristics is going to be quantified or grouped into different headings. So the one of the major settings is the qualitative study. It's going to be done in a natural settings. You are not going to done in a extended places. If it is a qualitative study, you are going to do it by yourself in a natural settings. For example, qualitative researcher tends to collect data in the field at the site where the participants are experiencing the issues and problems. If you are doing a study, you are going to meet the participants in their place. The sufferings or experiences they gain from the same place is going to be the study topic. It is going to be expressed or explained by the participants who are experienced on same problems, on same situations. For example, they are telling our well is dried. Our well is dried. So it is not easy for us to live here. This is the experience they are telling. So it is immediately we need to find alternative place. That is the result you are going to derive. But the from the wordings of them you are hearing these things. The same thing is going to be seen by yourself physically, because their experiences immediately you can able to see by the researcher them himself can able to go and see the same experience. Then the researcher as a key instruments in qualitative study. The qualitative researchers collect data themselves through examining documents, observing behaviors, and interviewing the participants, because the researcher himself is the key facilitator. So he himself involved in examining certain secondary documents, he himself observing the behaviors of the participants and also interviewing the participants by the researcher himself or herself. So you are going to do the data collections. It's going to be done using different sources or multiple source of data you are going to collect using qualitative. That is one of the key feature. You are collecting certain data using social mapping. The same social mapping data is going to be checked through some other exercise. So information is going to be collected using different tools. So you can able to cross check the data using different tool whether the same information is coming or not. That is going to be checked through, because you are collecting data using multiple source of data collection mechanisms. Then you are following inductive data analysis. So inductive means you have observations, then you have observations. That observation is going to be made as a theory. Then the theory is going to be practiced with the other places. Maybe you are restricting your findings with the particular individual. It is going to be applicable to any group or any individuals. So the qualitative researcher build their pattern of categories and themes from the bottom up by organizing data into increasingly more abstract unit of information. So inductive data analysis method you are using in qualitative studies. Then the certain data or certain meanings, it is going to be given by participants themselves. For example, the entire qualitative research process, the researcher keep your focus on learning the meaning that participants hold about the problems or issues. For example, if you are asking the participants to classify who is poor, they can able to classify who is poor with their own words. What you are doing here, the people are giving meaning for certain issues. You are trying to understand the people's meaning of particular issues, because you are going to highlight the issues through people's meaning. So you need to understand the meaning used by people, then it is going to be transferred in the form of a research report. That's why it's saying most of the findings are the wordings were used. Participants, they themselves have own meanings, so that you are, as a researcher, you are trying to understand the participants meaning, then you are interpreting the same. Then it is an emergent design. The research process for qualitative research, it is an emergent one. Around 20 to 30 years of history only available for qualitative research. It is a recent research methodology. It's what. So this means that the initial plan for research cannot be tightly prescribed, and that all phases of the process may change or shift after the researcher enter in the field or begin to collect the data. So at any time, since it is an emergent design, at any time you can able to make changes according to the needs of the local conditions or the field conditions. You can able to make changes in your research plan. Maybe you are thinking, I am going to do social mapping today, but the participants who are sitting in front of you may not be willing to start with the social mapping. Maybe you in that case you need to change. We can start with research mapping, then later we can come to social mapping. That kind of cushion is always there in qualitative study. Then you can also use theoretical lens for qualitative research. qualitative research is a form of inquiry in which researchers make interpretations of what they see, they hear, they understand. So there is a theoretical lens is also there, but that theoretical lens is going to be used in the form of researchers what he or she is going to see and hear and interpret using theoretical lens. So you have a theory of change. Mostly in qualitative study, we are using the term called theory of change. So that theory of change is going to be interpreted using the researchers by himself or herself through their own what they saw from the field, what they hear from the field, what they understood from the field. It's going to be explained through theoretical lens. Then it's also have a holistic account. Qualitative researcher try to develop a complex picture of the problems or issues under the study. Once you finish the study, you can able to come up with a different way of presentations. For example, I can able to say the the problems can be connected from different source or mostly in qualitative reports it pictorial forms. You can able to use mind mapping to explain the issues. Maybe you can use several tools to give holistic picture from your qualitative study, because the entire qualitative study is giving importance to look at the issue in a holistic way. For example, the one I explained here, the thing I explained from the participants' meaning. The participants' meaning, I am giving an example from my own study. If you are asking people to categorize their village, their fellow citizens from their hamlet, they can able to do. They can able to give real meaning, practical meaning. They can able to give. That this particular study, we were asked to classify. We were asked to classify who is rich family in their village, who is medium type of family in their village, who is poor family. According to their classifications, there is a explanation is also given by the people themselves using their own understanding. So a rich person, they have sufficient asset to manage their household without outside help. They are not getting any assistance from outside. They can able to manage their family affairs by themselves. They are not dependent to anybody. That is the criteria they used for rich families. Even they were declassifying that one. They have A level of educations. They have more 100 sovereigns of gold, bank balance, agriculture land, house, shops, uh, boat, engine, nets. If this kind of materials available in their family, then that family considered as a rich family. Some members are working in the government job. They are also come in a category number one, rich family. If they do any business, are giving out any loan, are doing agriculture, fishing, government jobs, they are supposed to come under rich family. If the children are studying in school and attending tuition classes, they are also considered. If you are a rich, then you can able to send your children in a private school and also sending them for your tuition classes. That itself is one of the criteria for deciding who is rich. The same way, people have different meaning to categorize the fellow citizens. Based on this classifications, how who is rich, who is medium family, who is poor family, people were classified entire village. There are 273 families altogether. Out of 273, 37 families are living in a medium level, 40 families are rich, remaining families are poor. That's how people are able to classify themselves. So people can able to give meaning for their understandings. So it is you to understand the people's meanings. Then because you are the one going to make a report, so you need to understand how people are giving meaning for certain issues or certain criteria. So based on that, you need to explain in your research report. Here for part one, especially nature and the meaning and nature of qualitative study. There are practical questions also there. What are all the key characteristics of qualitative research? Then why researcher do wanted to conduct qualitative study? What is the purpose of conducting qualitative study? What is required to undertake this type of research? Then there is a big question is also there. What topics should be addressed in a plan or proposal for a qualitative study? State your topics of study with reasons. If you can select your topic, then choose the methodology. As a qualitative, you can give the reason, title and the reason for choosing qualitative as a methodology for your study. That's what the discussion questions says. Do you have any question related to the first part, meaning and the characteristics of nature of qualitative study?
No, doc.
Okay. Tikala is gone. It's you only. Shall I continue?
Tackle is attending us or not?
No. He can't.
Eh?
He can't already.
Okay.
Shall I break?
It is better to complete and then we have to break because we have to complete.
Okay. So the within the first part there is another topic called philosophical foundation of qualitative research. I hope you can able to remember. There are four aspects in philosophical foundation of research. That is ontology, epistemology, axiology, and biotic process. And even method also you can incorporate, since it is qualitative research. Methodology is also included, but commonly the philosophy of research, which have epistemological knowledge, ontological knowledge, then axiological knowledge. All these three come together as a objective oriented. That will frame an objective for any research. So in the choice of qualitative research or inquiry makes certain assumptions. Even qualitative study also, the inquiries have certain assumptions. This philosophical assumptions consist of a stance towards nature of reality. Nature of reality, it's an ontology. There is a common truth, or you can say nature of reality, or in philosophical term, ontology. Technical term, it's an ontology, nature of reality. Then how the researcher knows what she or he knows, that is called epistemology. Maybe you as a researcher, you have different perspective. You have there is a nature of reality, that is ontology, but as a researcher, whether he is coming from poor background or rich background or culturally different background, that will make impact how different people are seeing the same thing. Different people are seeing in the same thing in a different perspective. So that is called epistemology. So first one, it's a nature of reality. Second one, how the researcher looking at the same issue from their point of view. That is epistemology. Then the role of values in research. Am I going to interpret my own, or I am going to interpret the people's perspective? So the role of values in research, that is axiology. Am I going to add something, or I am just giving the way people are telling? That will shows the values of research, that is called axiology. Then the language of research, that is called rhetoric. There is a language supposed to be used in researcher. For example, simple way I can say, any findings you are writing or any report you are writing, you need to use third person. You should not use first person and second person. Sorry, first person. You should not use the word I. You should use he or she or they. That is a basic thing. So the language you are using in research, that is rhetoric. Then method used in the process. So this 5 items, it is going to be set your assumptions, or set the basic foundation for qualitative research. So first one, nature of reality. The certain things will happen in front of us. Maybe it is in it's in a form of process, or somebody is induced. That is called nature of reality. Then how the researcher looking at that reality from their cultural point of view, from their personal point of view, from their ideological point of view, it will differ. That is called epistemology. Then the role of values in research. You as a researcher, are you going to interpret from your ideology, or you are going to interpret in a fair manner? So the role of values in research, and also language used in research. Qualitative research mainly encourage to use the same language used by the people themselves. So that is rhetoric. Then the method used. What kind of methodology you are going to apply? Are you going to apply participatory methodology, or just going with the survey, or you are just keeping people are in for as a stakeholder, or you are just keep them as a target community? It will make findings in your assumptions. So there is a table I am going to show you that will tell us different philosophical foundation regarding qualitative research. For example, ontological. Ontology means nature of reality.
Reality, yeah.
So there are four assumptions. One is five assumptions. One is ontology, epistemology, axiology, then rhetoric, then methodology. So if it is an ontology, then what you are asking, what is the nature of the reality? You are going to ask how the certain things were happened. You are trying to understand without any prejudice. You are trying to understand the reality, nature of the reality. Maybe this reality is a subjective one, and multiple as seen by the participants in the study. For example, you are asking, it's a subjective content. Reality is going to be a subjective content seen by the participants who are involved in the study. Subjective and also multiply. Sometimes people are missing certain links. You need to accept that one also. Sometimes people are not subjective. That also you need to accept. So the implication for your research, the researcher uses quotes and themes in words of participants and provide evidences of different perspectives. So you need to use the same language used by the people themselves, because if you are changing that language, then it will make different meaning. So it is better to use the same language people are used. That is the practice you need to follow. Then epistemological assumptions. What is the relationship between the researcher and that being researched? For example, if you are doing a poverty related study, if you are doing a poverty related study, maybe you can refer from your own point of view. Since I am coming from a low background, how I am looking at that issue, how I am looking at a rich person, how I am looking at a poverty, people who are living in poverty. So it is the relationship between the researcher and the nature of the reality. So the researcher attempts to lessen the distance between himself and herself that being researched. So it is better to keep our own feelings outside. Don't bring our own experiences into the research. So it is better to keep away our own status. That is fine for doing qualitative study. So it is better to keep the researcher's attempts to lessen distance between himself and herself into the research subject. So the researcher collaborates, spend time in the field with the participants, and become an insider. He should not bring his own experience. He try to spend more time in collaborative manner with the local people to be accepted as an insider. That is the best way to overcome that issue of epistemology. Then axiology. What is the role of values? So the researcher acknowledges that research is value laden, that bias are present. You need to accept the research is bias, there are bias is also there because it's a value statement. Value means it sometimes it is right, sometimes it may wrong. So your values differ from others' values. So you need to accept all values are not same. Values are differ. Values are differ. So the researcher acknowledges that research is value laden and that bias are present. So researcher openly discuss the values that shape the narratives and include his and her own interpretations in conjunction with the interpretation of the participants. Maybe when you are doing interpretations, you bring your value statement in line with the participants' value statement. Don't bring it by yourself, maybe in line with the participants' value statement. You can bring your own statements. It comes under axiology. Rhetorical. So what is the language the research supposed to use? The researcher writes in literary, informal style, using the personal voices and uses qualitative terms, and limited definitions. So the qualitative research supposed to be researcher. He need to use basic literary, informal style of writing, then personal voices and uses qualitative terms and limit the definitions. You should bring more practical writing, not theoretical writing. You need to bring more practical writing. You need to use simple language. The language which very much easily to understandable. You need to use that one. So there is the implication. The researcher uses an engaging style of narrative and may use first person pronunciations and employ the language of the qualitative research. Maybe you can use when the readers are reading your report, they need to be part of the report. They need to imagine from your writing. They need to imagine this is what is happening in the field. So you need to give that sort of narrative from your reporting style. Mostly you use first person pronunciation. Sometimes maybe you are writing in case study within the report. You bring it the first person. So that will make more close to the readers. In methodological, what is the process of research you are going to follow? That is what methodology is going to be. So the researcher uses inductive logic, studies the topic within its context and uses emerging designs. So researcher work with the particulars, details before generalizations, describe in detail the context of the study, continually revise the questions from the experiences in the field. Don't stick with the same plan. It's supposed to be changed according to the needs of the field realities. So you need, at any time you need to change your methodology based on the reality of the field. I'm giving an example. There is an epicentry exercise I did after the internal war which was happened in Sri Lanka. After 2 years, this exercise was done.